Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Gonna be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Everton tomorrow lunchtime. That could have been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last press conference as Manchester United manager. Now let's get into it anyway. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists he has full backing from the Manchester United board, and he insists he will be successful, and he trusts our players to respond because we've obviously had back-to-back defeats. These are some of the other things that he mentioned during the press conference. Now, this is Solskjaer on squad mentality. He says, every time you play for United, passion and fight are the things you expect to see. To earn the right to win a game of football, you need that, and definitely against Everton. With or without fans at Goodison Park, you still have to have that fight and passion in you. That's a given. Times are different, times are strange. There is a strain on the players. Football is not the same without fans and passion. I don't think anyone's been in the situation the players are in now. They've had months and months of playing with uncertainty and unknown with the virus and the pandemic. We have to look after them physically and mentally and think how my players cope with the whole situation. I'm definite believer in these boys and will come and show how much they care. So that's some of the things he said in the press conference. He was also asked if he's been impressed with Everton and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And he says, not just Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the whole team set up. When Carlo came in, that's a manager everyone admires. Players, coaches, other managers, he's had a fantastic career. This is all what Ollie said, and you start having a look. They didn't have a very good period after the restart, but now you can see what he's been working on. Good pre-season. He used to restart to look at his team, and I've been impressed. And Calvert-Lewin has been part of that, and he's integral to their play. This is Solskjaer on the speculation over his future. You know, he put, you have to be mentally strong. They are demands on Manchester United's players, coaches and manager. There is an expectation. We are the best and the biggest club in the world, and you don't expect anything but criticism then. It's how you deal with the setback, and from what I've seen from the boys, they've been very focused. So yeah, there are a lot of the things that he mentioned, you know, during the press conference. Didn't mention any team news, by the way, during the press conference. I've got some positive news, though, regarding Alex Telles. He has been in training, and he could be making his Premier League debut for the football club tomorrow. I actually thought Alex Telles wasn't going to be playing in this game because he was a doubt, because not so long ago he got tested positive for COVID-19. Alex Telles obviously made his debut for the club against PSG, but I think he's going to be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. We've got Alex Telles for €50 million with add-ons included. And Telles signed a 4-year contract with the football club with an option of a further year, didn't he? So he may come in for Luke Shaw. Ole, don't forget, he was talking about fine margins that was in the games against Arsenal and Chelsea. I think tomorrow Ole Gunnar Solsjaer will make some changes from the 2-1 defeat to Istanbul Başakşehir. Be interesting to see what formation Ole goes with tomorrow. Is he going to go with the 4-2-3-1 formation? He has gone a lot with that formation since he got appointed in as Man United manager. Will he go with the 3-5-2 formation? Will he go with the 4-3-3 formation? I think a lot of Manchester United fans would like to see a diamond. Now, if we lose to Everton tomorrow, it's not fully assured that Solskjaer will be sacked as Manchester United manager. But there's obviously been rumours going on saying that it's likely he will be sacked if we fail to beat Everton. Even a draw, Solskjaer could still be sacked. Everton, though, is going to be a very, very tough game. Everton have won 4 games in the Premier League this season. They've obviously beaten Tottenham, Crystal Palace, West Brom and Brighton. But they have lost their last 2 league games. They lost to Newcastle and they lost to Southampton. Everton did good recruitment in the summer transfer window. They obviously brought James Rodriguez in. They brought Decore in. They brought Allen in. They brought Ben Godfrey in. I think he's out with injury for Everton, so he may not be playing tomorrow. They brought Olsen in on loan, and I think they brought another player in. But I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is the danger man for Manchester United. They've obviously got Richie Arledson Everton, but he's suspended for tomorrow. They've got obviously Bernard in their team. They've got Sigurdsson there. They've got Andrea Gomez. He's recently been out with injury. They've got Lucas Digne, who's a very, very good left back. I'm expecting him to play tomorrow for Everton. They've got obviously Yerry Mina. They've got Michael Keane, who's a former Man United player, so he should be reuniting with the club. But yeah, like I mentioned though, Everton have let quite a few players go in recent years. They let Idrissa Gueye go to PSG. They loaned Moise Kean out to PSG. They obviously let Theo Walcott go out on loan to Southampton. Obviously, they lost Lukaku back in 2017. Everton are currently sitting 4th in the Premier League. The fixture at Goodison Park last season was 1-1. We've lost a few times though at Goodison Park in recent years. We lost there 4-0 back in April 2019. That was one of the worst defeats we've had under Ole. We lost there by 3-0 under the Louis van Gaal era, and we lost there by 2-0 under the David Moyes era. But yeah, Carlo Ancelotti is a very, very good manager, so I've got to agree with Ole on that aspect. Ancelotti has been Everton manager now for almost a year. When Everton appointed him in, he signed a 4.5-year deal. And I think he's won around 15 major honours so far in his managerial career. So he has got a good pedigree behind him. Before Everton had Carlo Ancelotti, they had Duncan Ferguson. Duncan Ferguson was only there on a temporary basis. And before that, they had Marco Silva. They was very inconsistent under him. And before that, didn't they have Roberto Martinez? They was good under him. They had Moyes at one point. Moyes endured around, 11 years with Everton. But yeah. Now, we have endured a very, very poor start to this season. We have lost 3 of our first 6 Premier League games. And all them defeats have come at Old Trafford. It's our worst start at Old Trafford in like 50 years. So we've not yet won at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. We've obviously lost 4 games in all competitions because we recently lost to Istanbul Başakşehir. That was our first defeat in the Champions League group stage. And we'd enjoyed a fantastic start to our Champions League campaign because we'd won our first 2 games. We'd beaten PSG and we'd beaten RB Leipzig, didn't we? We have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season since the David Moyes era. So that just proves how inconsistent we have been. We are sitting 15th in the Premier League. So we are near the relegation zone. Now obviously, Mauricio Pochettino is the favourite to take over at Manchester United. The Manchester Evening News recently said that we've approached Mauricio Pochettino over becoming the club's new manager. Now, Pochettino was linked with the managerial role at Man United after Jose Mourinho got sacked. There's been a few other clubs though that have been interested in him. Obviously, Manchester City have been in for him. The other week it said Zenit St Petersburg were in talks. Real Madrid have been in for him before. Barcelona. A while back, Newcastle were interested in him. Pochettino did say on Monday Night Football that he's missing football and he's ready to return to management. Because he obviously was saying like football's his passion and that. He's been managerless now for like a year. Pochettino was sacked from Tottenham last year. And I think Tottenham made a big mistake by sacking him. Pochettino did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. But he did guide Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last year. He also guided them to the League Cup final and guided them to 2 FA Cup semi-finals. But he hasn't won out in terms of silverware as a manager, and that's my element of concern about him. Before he was at Spurs, he was at Southampton. He enjoyed a short tenure with Southampton, but he guided Southampton to their highest ever finish. Before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So he's managed 3 clubs so far in his managerial career. There has been reports coming out recently saying that Man United could miss out on Pochettino if we don't act soon. But the question is, if we appoint Pochettino in, will he get the backing from the board? Because quite frankly, our board have not backed Ole Gunnar Solsjaer enough. They haven't backed any of our managers enough since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. What players will Mauricio Pochettino bring into the club? What players will he get rid of? More than likely, he will demand a director of footballing, so he gets the backing he wants. But, we shall see. We have been looking at Massimiliano Allegri as an alternative to Pochettino. He's a former Juventus manager. There's been a few stories coming out today saying that we've been interested in Julian Nagelsmann. We're seeing him as another alternative to Pochettino. Julian Nagelsmann is regarded as one of the best young coaches in the world. He's at RB Leipzig. Last season, Nagelsmann got RB Leipzig to the Champions League semi-final. Also got them a 3rd place finish. This season, Leipzig have done well in the Bundesliga. Julian Nagelsmann used to manage 1899 Hoffenheim before he was at Leipzig. During his playing career, he played for Augsburg and 1860 Munich. But there's a lot of problems at Manchester United, isn't there? Not only the manager, the board's a problem. Some players are the problem as well, because these players at Man United that have obviously been underperforming. Ole Solsjaer has been Manchester United manager now for almost 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018, and he's been permanent Manchester United manager since March 2019. Ole has got a contract with the football club until 2022. I can assure he's not going to see out his contract at the football club. We'll obviously have to pay to sack him. I think we'll only have to pay around £4 million to sack him. But I just don't think he's good enough to succeed as a manager, Ole, because he hasn't got that proven pedigree. Manchester United is the third club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Mould. He won a few Norwegian titles at Mould. And before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff. And Ole enjoyed a very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. But I thought Ole was a very, very good player for the football club. He enjoyed 11 years as a player for Manchester United, didn't he? But he is way out of his depth at the club. This is his second full season as Manchester United manager. And he's managed 101 games so far for the club in all competitions. But I think in a lot of his games as well, his team selections have been very, very poor. There's still no philosophy at the club. There's no system, there's no tactics. There's no style of play whatsoever. And yeah, some of the blame does stem from the manager, doesn't it? But there's not all negativity regarding Solskjaer. As you all know, I have taken positives from his tenure. I think he showed tactical flexibility in a lot of our big games. Our record against the top 6 sides since Ole came in, to be fair, have been quite good. Because Ole beaten Thomas Tuchel. He's beaten PSG twice as a manager. He's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. Last season, he beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times. He also beat Frank Lampard 3 times. He's beaten Jose Mourinho once as Manchester United manager. I like the way that Ole has promoted the youth. That's another positive you can take. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he came in. He has made good signings since he got appointed in as Man United manager. Ole has spent over £200 million since he came in, and he has enjoyed around 4 transfer windows at the football club. And I credit him for what he did last season, because last season he got us qualification for the Champions League, also got us third, and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. And last season was his first full season at the club. But unfortunately, what we did last season, we haven't built on that this season. Because this season, I was hoping that Man United could have challenged for the Premier League title. But Solskjaer is now in the exact same position as what he was in at the first part of last season. Because at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. And at that point, Ole was very, very close to getting sacked by the football club. Now, obviously, we're making plans for next year. Next year, we'll be obviously looking to make more signings. Obviously, we'll be looking to offload more players next year. But we've been so inconsistent for the last 7 years or so. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for over 7 years. But we are the most successful team in Premier League history. We've only won 4 trophies in the last 7 years or so since Ferguson retired. That was the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal, and we won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield under Jose Mourinho. And obviously, we've had different managers with different philosophies. You know, Moyes got sacked after around 8.5 or was it 9 months. Louis van Gaal got sacked after 2 years. And Jose Mourinho, he got sacked after 2.5 years. No, we spent a hell of a lot of money in the last 7 years or so. We spent close to the £1 billion range on players. Not only that, we've got players on big contracts at the football club. You know, you've got De Gea that's on £350,000 a week. Highest paid goalkeeper in the world, and I think the highest paid at the club. You've got Harry Maguire that's on a good 200 odd grand a week. You've got Paul Pogba, he's on 290 grand a week. You've got Rashford that's on 200 odd grand a week. You've got Lingard that's on £100,000 a week. Martial's on 200 odd grand a week. You know, we had a player that was on nearly £500,000 a week until we got rid of him, and that was obviously Alexis Sanchez. So, reflect on all of this. People say Man United should be in much more of a commanding position, really. But no manager at Man United, whether it's Solsjaer, Poch or any other manager, they won't replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy, and they won't last as long as Sir Alex Ferguson did. Like I said, Ferguson endured 27 years at Man United and he endured over 20 odd years of success. And Ferguson won a total of 38 major honours at the football club. But he didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. But Jurgen Klopp, you know, look at him, how good he is now, but he didn't settle in straight away at Liverpool. So it does take some managers' time, but I just think that Ole has had long enough now. He really, really has. And in a way, I do feel sorry for him because I think he's in a position that he shouldn't be in. And the club made a bad mistake by getting rid of him. By giving him the job permanently, sorry. But the main explanation for giving the job permanently was reflect on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But I think we've made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so. And that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. It's as simple as that. I think there's players at Manchester United that are definitely not good enough. Lingard, he isn't good enough, but he doesn't play regularly now anyway. And I'm expecting him to leave next year. Rojo, he hasn't really established himself as a first team regular since he came to the club. Phil Jones, he's been very, very inconsistent as well. He'll probably leave next year. Sergio Romero, he's obviously now our third choice goalkeeper. He'll leave. He recently said he wants his contract terminated. Daniel James, I don't think he's that good now. He had a lot of good games last season, but from my own perception, I think Solsjaer overplayed him. I think we'll loan Daniel James out next year. Leeds United are the ones that have been interested in him. Brandon Williams, he's another one. I think he could be loaned out next year as well. He played a lot last season, but obviously Luke Shaw was injured a few times. That's probably why. It'd be beneficial to loan Williams out to obviously get him more experience, wouldn't it? Because he's now our third choice left back, is Brandon Williams. Paul Pogba, we're expecting him to leave the football club next year. I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United, Paul Pogba. He's received a lot of criticism recently as Paul Pogba. You know, he cost us the game against Arsenal because he was the one that gave the penalty away, brought Hector Bellerin down. Paul Pogba, though, did apologise for that. I think Paul Pogba will end up going to Real Madrid. But there's obviously still rumours about him possibly going back to Juventus, isn't there? And Barca and PSG have been in for him, Paul Pogba. So he's not good enough for Man United, Paul Pogba. Victor Lindelof, I don't think he's good enough to represent Man United. You know, he's nowhere near on Harry Maguire's level, though, is he? Let's be honest. Matic, he's not great, he's not good, but he's not bad. But he's had some good games as a Man United player. Do you think we could sell him next year? But there's also good players in the team as well. You know, you've got Rashford, that's good. He hasn't been good in his last couple of games, but he's still a very, very good player. Martial's good. He's available now because he's served his 3-match suspension. Mason Greenwood's good. You know, Solsjaer's been defending him in recent weeks. I like Bruno Fernandes a lot. He's one of the best players we've got. And one of the best signings we've made for a while. Bruno Fernandes, though, was shocking against Istanbul Başakşehir. He lost a possession around 34 times. You know, Bruno Fernandes has endured around 9 months at the football club. You know, I think Donny van de Beek's good. Hasn't been given enough chances yet, though, at Man United. You know, Donny van de Beek has started our last 2 Champions League games, but he's not yet made his full Premier League debut. You know, should he start tomorrow against Everton? Maybe he won't. He'll probably play Fernandes instead of Van de Beek, won't he? We'll have to see. Fred, I don't think he's world class, but I think he's improved under Ollie. Didn't play any part against Başakşehir. He was poor against Arsenal, but the 4 games prior to the Arsenal one, you know, he did very, very well. Same sort of thing with McTominay, not world class, but he's had some good games at Man United, and he's had some good games under Ollie as Scott McTominay. Fred and McTominay have played a lot together recently. Luke Shaw, he's had poor games, he's had good games. He's too injury prone in my opinion, is Luke Shaw. Eric Bay, good centre-half but too injury prone. Do you think the club could sell him next year? Eric Bay's out with a muscle injury at the moment for a few weeks, so obviously he won't play any part tomorrow. I don't think... Anyway. Harry Maguire, definitely overpaid for him. Got him in a deal worth £80 million. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, isn't he? Recently wasn't good against Başakşehir, but he's had some good games this season. He did bounce back from his early season troubles, to be fair, did Maguire. We'll keep him though. And Wan-Bissaka, he hasn't been good recently, but he's had some good games this season. And David De Gea, I've got to say, he's rejuvenated himself recently at the football club. So that's, you know, what I will say. But yeah, there's definitely more signings needed in that team. There really, really is. So, anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, like, explore on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.